เชิญค่ะ
เชิญครับ
Morning, Anne. Morning, Alberto. Tadao.
Good morning.
Everyone.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Sorry, Kapajan.
Sawadee Kap Tanajan.
Good morning everyone.
I think Ajahn is ready if anyone has a topic or question they'd like to start with. Do you have anything you'd like to start with, Anne or Alberto? Or Tadao or Sundra, anyone?
Last week, just as well, in the time before we were finishing, Tadao, as I remember, you had asked a question about why ignorance is it's so difficult to know ignorance, to notice ignorance. And I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance. We've had house guests. I haven't had a chance to read, to re-listen to that part of the discussion. But Ajahn, you were, I believe, talking about different levels of panya and is it the 3 or the 4 rounds?
The 3
But-
rounds.
3 rounds. Ajahn, can you or Sarah or Jonathan, please talk about that again?
I just mentioned briefly. So the 3 rounds are the different levels of understanding of the 4 noble truths.
Mm-hmm.
So the first round is the intellectual understanding, the pariyatti understanding of the 4 noble truths of what dukkha is, the cause, the cessation, and the path. But it's not just any intellectual understanding, it's the firm understanding, the satya jnana of what dukkha is now and what is the way, and so on. And the second round, in brief, the kicca jnana, is the direct understanding, the development of satipatthana, the beginning of directly understanding of the 4 noble truths. So it's a higher level of understanding. And the third round, the kata jnana, is the realization of the truths, beginning with the vipassana jnanas. So the direct realization of what dukkha is, what the cause is, what the cessation is, and what the way leading to the eradication of defilements is. So these are the 3 rounds of the 4 noble truths that Ajahn was mentioning last time. But Ajahn may like to add more, because actually I had a question about a comment you made, Ajahn, also in this regard, because I don't know whether it was an error or a slip, or whether it's another kind of consideration, because you mentioned, you referred to the first and second round of pariyatti understanding. But as I just mentioned, and picked up the same point, and actually I think I've heard it, you mentioned it twice, and you referred to the pariyatti of patipatti, the intellectual understanding of patipatti, whereas as I just mentioned, we understood the kicca jnana, the second round, to be patipatti rather than another level of pariyatti. So perhaps you would clarify and add more details, Ajahn. So good topic to bring up, Anne. Thank you.
Shall we start with the beginning of what is there now? For example, we talk about ignorance, but ignorance of what? Whatever is there now is not known as it is at all. That's why ignorant of whatever is there in life, any time, any moment, from birth, when there is no time to consider the teaching of the Buddha about understanding what is there now, in a moment, from moment to moment. Otherwise, how can there be any understanding of anything at all? That's why even right now, without hearing, considering the truth of what is there, that the teaching is just about what is there now to be known as it is. But no thought about it. What is it? Gone all the time, taking it for some event, something, some situation, all the time. And all those moments, ignorance are there from moment to moment. That's why learning to understand the pariyatti of the truth of what is there, just one reality at a time, because now there are so many realities, seeing and hearing and thinking, and that which appears, sound and so on. No understanding of anything in life. So begin to understand ignorance about what is there, not just only this life. So many, many years and years life ago, or accumulated of ignorance of what is there. And this is pariyatti, to have firm confidence of what is there as no understanding is not any understanding of whatever is there now. That's why we begin to understand pariyatti, all about what is there right now to be known. Otherwise, what can be known if it's not now, this moment? Have the confidence of the truth, can continue on hearing again, considering again, study each word that is heard about what is there. For example, there is seeing. We don't talk about other moment, but we are talking about seeing, a moment of seeing right now. We talk about thinking. Is there any time in life, or are they unknown? That's why pariyatti has to be firm. The aim, the purpose, the goal of listening is to understand the truth of what is there as absolute truth. What does it mean? The truth is that seeing is seeing. It cannot be other thing else. But what is the truth? Seeing is not that which appears at all. But who think about that there is a reality from birth, arising and experiencing as living being all the time. Otherwise, there cannot be any experiencing of anything at all in life. But it's there, a reality. Who knows? Because the object of the experiencing of that moment does not appear. That's why begin from before seeing, there must be a reality which experiences an object. But we think about different things all the time from moment to moment. Without it, there's no life at all. Nothing can appear, no world at all. That's why the chief of life or experiencing to appear as this or that must be at moment when that reality arises. And the truth is that whatever arises falls away. Now, it's this moment. So learn to understand what is there now as it is. What are we talking about, discuss on it, is there now. For example, is there any understanding of seeing right now? An understanding of that which appears as it is? No, at all. And we keep talking, thinking about the story of it. So the question is how subtle, how crafty Lopa is. It's there now. Just conditioned moment of thinking about other things all the time, not understanding that what is there is so true, is only the moment of seeing, but seeing is not always there. So where is it's gone. That's why whatever arises falls away instantly. This is pariyatti, because it's not directly understanding the nature of the reality which arises and experiences an object. right now and then fall away. Firm confidence of the truth can condition more hearing, considering, understanding, little by little, to let go wrong understanding and understand what is right understanding and what is wrong understanding. So there has to be the understanding of the truth of reality, the main. Sorry, now, so I understand now, so now I can talk. Okay, now everything is ready. So now, see what happened. Each moment is the reality which arises and experiences an object, but it's not known at all, no thought about it. So that is ignorance. So before there can be directly understanding the truth of whatever is there now, there must be hearing, considering about each word to understand that it's so far away to realize the truth, because the truth is one is hidden because of the arising and falling away all the time, so very rapidly. So what appears is only the nimitta, no matter of what, of seeing, of thinking, of hearing, of sound, or whatever. And this is moment of having more confidence to get closing to the truth right now. It's not far away at all. It's there. But to think about what is there now, so close, is to be known. That's why firm confidence of the first Ariya Satya, see, develop little by little to understand the hindrance of the moment of understanding the truth. The ignorance and attachment is there. So the less ignorance, the less attachment can give way to develop understanding of the truth, to hear more, consider more, having more naturally, because no one is there to order or to create anything at all to arise. It's there all there by conditions, even right now. No need to do anything to have what something arise. It's there already, no matter it's thinking, hearing, considering, or whatever. That's why learn to understand. Life is moment of different realities and not the same moment at all. So what is there and then gone unknowingly. And this is the first round of the first Ariya Satya. And understand the second round, what hinders the development of understanding. Because while we talk about other things, can it lead to understand the closest reality right now, here and there? That's why understanding the subtlety of all realities, even ignorance and attachment, is there so great because it's long time deep accumulated to hinder the moments of understanding the truth. And understanding that as long as there is ignorance and attachment, no way to realize the truth, to let go of wrong understanding and kilesa, to be enlightened the truth, the third one. And no one understands that even now, each word, hearing, considering about the truth is the way or the only way to have right understanding enough to penetrate the truth that we are talking about. So firm confidence of the path is moment of understanding, no wish or wanting to do anything to have more understanding, but to understand whatever is there by conditions. See how subtle it is, so natural to understand the hindrance. Lopa is there. If it's not natural, And if there's no thought about what is heard now, it's about what is there now, so close, each moment, arising and falling away. And having such understanding so great enough to condition moment of beginning to think of what is there as it has to be known because it's there only when it appears. This is the second round about the first Ariya Satya and the second one and the third one and the fourth one, until it develops by itself from moment to moment, this moment and no more, until long time ago. It is that way. Or there can be more moments, more here is just one, and then the other quite far apart, and then again. It has to be like this according to the accumulation of ignorance and attachment years and years ago. And this kind of understanding can condition moment of not try to do anything to have the understanding, but listening. And it works. Right understanding works its way. Understanding little by little to enclose or open up what is there, which is covered up right now. And second, this is the second round. And the third round, the object is so clear because who can think about the right awareness right now if there's not enough understanding? We take something as awareness, but it's not. It has to be a reality condition to be aware, because there is understanding of that object of awareness enough to condition moment of awareness to be aware of it naturally, to show up of a little more understanding of anatta-ness. So the path is on anatta-ness of whatever is there, because all dhammas are anatta. That's why we begin to understand the reality which experiences the object as it's a kind of a reality, of the reality which can experience the object. So when there is other reality which experience the object, like attachment, aversion, and so on, it appears to be known. We don't have to think that it's experiences, but it's there. Experience the object of anger or of attachment right then by conditions. Understand the conditions would be the second vipassana jhana. See, that's why the way it is so subtle. No one can understand how it works now. But when time comes, the different moment of direct awareness and just listen and understanding different level of a reality, sati and panya and so on. We learn little by little to understand what is there as it is. And the result is that, no doubt, when panya is sharp enough, strong enough, firm enough to have the understanding of the reality which experiences no shape, no form, no matter it is attachment, aversion, or ego, or whatever. It's there as it is, little by little, until what is there in life can be known, realized as they are, one reality at a time. To let go the ignorance, attachment, and the other akusala, little by little, stage by stage. So this is the third round of the Four Noble Truths. So natural. Because no one there, only realities arising, performing its function. Even the reality which experiences the object clearly, it's not there all the time, even it arises each moment. It arises and falls away by conditions to experience the object which is unknown and the object which is there as visible object of sound and so on, arising and falling away. It has to be directly realized. So clear stage by stage to understand what is meant by no one and nothing. Because whatever appears as it is, like the reality which experiences the object, it's now, see? So there can be the beginning of attending to the reality which experiences hardness when hardness appears, sound appears, the visible object appears, whatever is there is the chief of experiencing. And there are other realities, the Dhammas, sometimes this and sometimes that appearing. But now, even at moment of seeing, only the object which is seeing appear. So how can there be the understanding of that which experiences it until there's more thinking, considering carefully enough to understand little by little whatever appears, it's there. The reality which experiences it on and on and on, unexpectedly, because they are anatta. But the understanding of the truth of whatever is there as just a reality can understand no matter what the object is or what appears.
John, I think I heard you say that when seeing arises, the object is there. But when understanding of seeing arises, direct understanding, I've thought it's only the direct understanding of seeing. At that point, the attention is not on the object. It's direct understanding of seeing, and that only seeing would be, that Panya would only directly know seeing, not the object at the same time.
Yes, so now please, one by one, are we talking about the seeing or the visible object? Now it's there. So we're talking about what?
Let's talk about seeing.
Okay. If there's no hearing, no considering that there is a reality which experiences visible object, can there be any idea about it?
No.
So this is the beginning to know that in life, the innermost, the reality which arises to experience an object has to be there, no matter what object is experienced. But what appears can be known. Now the seeing is not known, right?
Right.
Even it's there. That's why we talk about it again and again and again, to be conditioned to attend to that characteristic which now experiences an object. In order that there will be no thought about the object, but there is the moment of considering the reality which is there, little by little. And then when it develops on and on, strong enough, it doesn't mind or attend to the object which appears, but attend to the reality which now arises, because even the arising of seeing is not known, but it has to be. Moment when it's there, it has to arise and experience, but no mind about what the object is. Just attend to the reality which now experience the object. even the objects they appear, because each moment realities arise and fall away in split seconds of split seconds. That's why even there is a moment of beginning to attend to the characteristic of seeing, the object is there, but no one attending to that object, see, little by little. And this is so very subtle that it's the only way to understand what is there, that we learned about it before. But it doesn't show up because it's only thinking about the story, while the moment, while the reality is arising and performing their function. No one there at all, arising and falling away. So the world is breaking each moment. If it does appear as it is, how can there be the letting go of something or someone?
Yes, I see.
So
Banya,
what we talk about is about what is there now, so close, so that it can getting closer and closer to the truth, because the understanding that it's just there when it appears, until it appears as it is, clear, clear. That's why there are many stages of even vipassana jnana and many stages of understanding, pariyati, patipati, and pativeda.
yes, thank you.
So now we begin to understand the great wisdom of the Buddha. Beyond expectation, even the arising and falling away of the nimitta of what is there now, beyond expectation. Otherwise, nothing can eradicate the idea of self and ignorance, not understanding what is there as it is. So there are conditions to keep on listening to the teaching carefully, wisely. It's all about now, to be known, to open up what is there hidden from life to life.
Thank you. That's very clear, Ajahn. Thank you.
Piti. The more understanding of the truth, the more piti in the samsara.
Oh, see, I'm sorry, I'm not. Maybe you could talk about PT for a minute. It's not the same as, or maybe it is.
It's piti, understand the truth.
The
Even
joy, piti is joy, and
Okay, rejoice, joy, yes.
joy. So it can be kusala or akusala, but here it's the wholesome
kusala.
joy with understanding. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Sarah.
So when there's a little more understanding, there is joy, more joy.
Yes. Yeah.
About the understanding of the truth.
Right. It's not the attachment joy. It's the understanding joy.
Joy. Kusala joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that intellectually.
Because of the letting go or the opening up, the getting close to the truth with less burden at those moments, no burden at those moments.
Yeah.
And there's no clinging for a moment, no ignorance for a moment.
Just a moment. Well, that's helpful. I'll listen to this again, I'm sure, and find it more and more valuable.
I couldn't quite follow your question, Anne, about when you're talking about the object, because you know the difference between seeing and visible object and how
Yes.
it's only one object
Yes.
that's experienced. So what exactly
Yes.
was your question?
My question had to do with something I thought I'd heard Ajahn saying, and it's clarified for me now. I misunderstood or mistook what she had said, but it's visible object and seeing arise at similar times. If there were no visible object, there would not be seeing. When it comes to understanding, it's what is appearing.
Right. The visible object has to arise first in
Yes,
order for
that's
seeing
right.
to arise. So it has to have arisen. Yes. And
Yes, it has.
And when it's understanding what appears, it could be visible object, could be
Yes,
seeing,
yeah,
could be
yeah.
any reality.
It was
Yes.
that distinction.
Yes. Good.
Thank
The arising and the appearing. Yes.
Yeah.
Alberto, would you like to see any more about the opening up and the Pali expression that you were discussing that Ajahn had mentioned?
Yeah, I've looked up opening up chitta. It's opening up because it's buried under kilesa. So it's cannot be seen. It's hidden. It's somewhere to be found. Pali is Citto Vivarana. Or Citto is Citta. Citta Vivarana.
Jito Vivarana Sabaya, yes. And I think it was because Ajahn had mentioned this expression, Jito Vivarana, and in the context of opening up and revealing the Citta, which is hidden, and the Sabaya part is what is suitable for Jito Vivarana, for the opening up, revealing the truth. In other words, it has to be the Panya, which opens up and reveals what is there, what is hidden the rest of the time.
It mentions, it also mentions samatha and vipassana in the commentary.
Right.
Opened up by samatha and vipassana. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, it's probably referring to the development of both, for those who have both jhana labhi as well as vipassana.
I just read the commentary lines that you're referring to. So it's suited to the opening up of the heart, Jito Vivarana Sabaya, suited to opening up of the heart, since it's suited to samatha and vipassana, reckoned as the opening of the heart through setting at a distance the hindrances that conceal the heart. Just then a little bit more. So I think it's referring to when at moments of any understanding, no hindrances at that moment. So opening up in the sense of being free from ignorance and attachment at those moments. But perhaps Ajahn would like to add more about the opening up, the Ceto Vivarana. Could you hear us, Ajahn?
Sorry, I didn't turn on phone. Sorry. Can samatha alone realize the truth, the Ariya Satya?
Impossible.
See, but at moment of vipassana jnana, is it calm? And moment of enlightenment is compared to the first the first of jhana, the first jhana. See, but the understanding is greater, much greater than the normal, the patama, the first jhana. That's why understanding what is meant by samatha. At this moment, is there samatha as well? Cetasika, Pansati?
Yeah,
But it's not
that's right.
developed to the degree of jhana. But when the understanding is there, no matter who is calmness there too, so great too, at moment of experiencing the vulnerable truth. That's why even there's no development of jhana to the degree of patamajhana, but the calmness is compared to that as the first jhana. When they are accompanied by the second and third and fourth, because the person who developed jhana to that degree also realized the truth, enlightenment too. So that it's the enlightenment citta with different level of jhana. But without the development of jhana, the calmness is great at moment when it experiences the vulnerable truth, compared to it as it the first jhana, but the object is different. That's why even in the Pitaka talking about the person who had both the jhana and the makacita, depending on conditions. When it's talk about both together, it means for the person who had developed samatha, so that it can be object of understanding to attain enlightenment with such states of calmness. Not for everyone, but at any moment of enlightenment, makacita, it is compared to the first calmness is as the first jhana.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Zana. I didn't think about it. Thanks.
We know that from the development of Vipassana jnanas onwards, the Vipassana, the understanding and the calmness are yoked together. So it is the development of Vipassana and Samatha with more and more understanding all the way. So actually there's calm with any kusala, but it particularly refers to them as being yoked at this level onwards. So I think when it refers here to the earlier to the talk about seclusion and so on, it's all about the seclusion from ignorance and wrong understanding and kilesa, the development of calm with understanding of the truth. And this is the opening up and the revealing of the citta, the heart, the hadiya.
And these moments are moments of trying to open up the truth.
Yeah, yes. There is trying all the time, almost every moment.
It's so calm too. But when it doesn't reach that degree, it cannot be known. So understanding any moment of good, wholesome citta, it's calm too. Begin to understand different levels of calmness.
And one can see and the difference between the moments of the piti when there is understanding with calm, and as soon as there's any trying or wishing to understand, it is the akusala piti with lobha, different because it's been conditioned by that lobha and the other unwholesome cetasikas at those moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Different piti.
Just thinking, just hearing this, I suddenly thought, great, there's lopa for piti. No good. It will happen when it happens.
Soon as there's trying to understand the meaning, like opening up or any term or detail,
Yes.
the akusala piti is there with lobha. There's joy, but it's with lobha at those moments.
That's right. Yeah.
Comes in so quickly, so sneakily.
Yeah.
And listening, when listening, there is the listening to the words of the Buddha. There is the condition which can condition the opening up little by little. It's just by hearing the right words.
By conditions, it can also be the accumulation of lobha, clinging to what is heard or said, different moments.
Even just a little bit of, just for even just one moment, it's better than nothing.
Depending on whether it's hearing with understanding or not.
I think it has to be with lobha because it's like the space in between kalapa is there, but it can like separate one moment of okay, no, yeah, you can count. There's no point in counting how many moments of lobha and how many moments of right understanding.
It's all gone. But
Lobha
like in the
counts.
sutta, you're quoting from the Meghiya Sutta, so one can be in the company of the Buddha hearing the finest words, but clinging comes in and hinders again and again.
And so subtle. So subtle. Much
Also
more
the
subtle.
and the subtle mana that you mentioned also last week.
Yes.
And come in time too.
I would think it's so much more subtle. And prevalent than we think, probably beyond our imagination now, just how subtle it is, and how frequently it happens.
So now, Panya conditioned the Virya Parami and other Parami to perform its function, to open up everything which is hidden, little by little. No one, or our Dhammas, so Parami is each moment of Panya, understanding the truth of whatever is now so close and so near.
And there would be many paramis involved in the moment of understanding the truth. Virya,
for whatever arises.
yeah.
But that can be known. Panya can understand anything whenever it's there. Realizing the truth of what is there, that it's just be there only when it is experienced. Even at moment when it is experienced, it arises and falls away in split seconds as well. More subtle. And the understanding of the subtlety of all kinds of reality, condition the letting go of trying to have such understanding so very, very soon.
Yes. I think too, and understanding, that's right, understanding the subtleties of Lopa, and understanding more and more just how much ignorance there is, and most of the time, yes, it becomes much, much more apparent that it's a long road. It takes time, and there really isn't much. Trying gets you nowhere. It's backwards. It's wrong, and that all one can do is listen and considering, and the considering arises by conditions, as does the listening. It makes it all easier to start to appreciate the extent that that's what's necessary.
When there is the understanding of the reality, it can be a moment of understanding what is there when it's there.
Yes.
And who knows, no one there at all. But Panya and other wholesome reality are working that way on. So very, very little at a time to get closer and closer to understand the truth of what is stage by stage. Unexpectedly, now we have heard about the anatta of everything. What is there? It conditioned, arising and falling away. That is not enough. That is just only the beginning of understanding that when it's clear, it cannot be as we think. For example, when there's no direct understanding with awareness of any object right now, it's different from moment when awareness is there, beginning to develop the truth of what is there as it is. For example, there is touching any time now, for sure, and there is seeing and there's no hearing. Without panya, how can there be moment of beginning to understand what is there as it is? That's why it has to begin to understand the truth firmly so that it can condition moment of beginning to understand what is there. As we have heard, hardness is there. It means that there is that which experiences hardness. So when there is no understanding of that which experiences hardness at all, how can it let go the idea of I from the five khandhas? And so when Panya begin to understand the difference between each one, the experiencing is not that which experience. It is the beginning to attain to different characteristics of different reality by conditions, beginning to have more confidence of anatta. And so when anatta develop on and on, how anatta it is, even that which is now arising and falling away, which hasn't been known before, is known. Anatta, who knows when and who knows what's the object of understanding. Surprisingly, unexpectedly, cannot imagine at all what would be the next one, or how can there be that moment of begin to aware and begin to understand the truth little by little. So anatta is there clearer that it's no one, anatta, not anything at all. And see that how can it be when it's closer and closer and closer to the truth of that which is conditioned. The first vipassana jhana, no doubt about the different characteristics, but not just by learning or just begin to be aware, but it appears clear and clearer and clearer until there's a little understanding added of no doubt or letting go the idea of self unknowingly. But when time comes, the anatta is so clear about what is there, how it comes, arising and falling away. The first vipassana jhana, no doubt about the characteristic of nama and rupa, so shortly because thinking about the split seconds, whatever arises and falls away. That's why it's not enough compared to the accumulation of ignorance and attachment. That's why it has to apply to whatever is there by conditions. Great patience to not try to do anything or try even just to attain to such and such object. Understanding even the subtle wrong understanding of the path, little by little. That's why before it can be opened up as it is, no expectation beyond imagination, little by little. Just begin to move little by little. So what is heard is just about what is there now. To have a little more understanding of the truth, but it's not directly known because right understanding is not firm enough, but it's firm when sammasati is there, arising, being aware of the characteristic of what is there, which has been taken for thing, someone, and something all the time.
John, can you say a little bit more about what you just said, samasati?
Okay. Now, at moment of kusala, no matter what kind of kusala, it is because of sati. Not forget to be wholesome of such kind of wholesomeness, right? And even right now, there is sati. But when it's not aware of the reality of a characteristic, it cannot be sammasati of the Eightfold Path. That's why we use sammasati in that sense.
Okay.
So,
So-
so right, to be able to understand that this is the object, it has its own characteristic, and such characteristic which is taken for something, it's not that at all. It's just the reality which is there. Only when it's there, it's there. After that experiences the other object, it's not there anymore. And in truth, it's falls way before that, unknown, until we learn a little more, to have more confidence of no one and no self. To condition such moment to understand what is there.
Right. The sati of satipatthana, I'm thinking that is not of the level of samasati.
It is
Is that-
sammasati from the
It
very
is?
beginning
Okay.
of direct awareness
Okay.
with understanding. It's samma. Otherwise, at the other level is not samma.
Mm. Okay, yes, thank you. That makes sense. When there's direct understanding, of course, there's direct understanding of a reality. So that's samma.
And when it's direct understanding, it is the development of the path.
Yes.
And so
yeah.
the sati is samaditi, it is sama vayama, it is sama sati, sama everything. And this is what satipatthana is. It is the development of the path, the direct understanding.
It's the first real step. Well, it has to be preceded by intellectual
Right.
understanding.
So
firm
again, we come back to the
yeah.
rounds, the 3 rounds. So
Yeah.
there has to
Yeah.
be the pariyati understanding to condition the direct understanding.
Yes.
And
Right.
the comment about how long the path is that you were mentioning. So I think we can even, sometimes when people hear about how long the way is and they feel sad or depressed, but I think there can be joy when we realize, okay, it's all by conditions, it's an
That's
outcome.
right.
No one can do anything at all.
Yeah, it's
So
letting go of
nothing that needs to be done, nothing that needs to be clung to. No I to try anything. So there can be joy at those moments of letting go and
for sure.
appreciating that it takes a long time.
Otherwise, it's me looking, me wondering, me trying.
Why isn't it going faster, this and that?
Right.
And
Me
why is
wanting
it
it to
taking
go
so
faster. Right.
So even hearing about what a long way it is,
Mhm.
it can be joy to appreciate that,
Yes.
to understand it,
Yeah.
to appreciate how much ignorance has been accumulated, how much clinging.
Mhm.
It's all there by conditions, not I who does this or that.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because we often go through our days. Well, I still do, thinking it's me who's doing this, it's me who's doing that. Every once in a while, the thought comes through, no, it's not.
And even when hearing the truth and there's, okay, got it. Even at those moments, the clinging comes in, the mana can come in,
I got
idea
it.
of
Yeah.
I that got it. Yeah. Not the understanding. So quickly different from moment to moment.
Right. And there's not enough understanding yet to know whether what preceded I got it was understanding or not.
And it doesn't matter because it's gone anyway. So
Exactly.
back to
Move
this
on.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see you can't look back. You can't know looking back. It makes no sense and it's a waste of time. off topic, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to excuse myself. I'm sorry. I'd like to stay for this, but I actually have family waiting in the living room, and I did my best to get my hour. So thank you, everyone. This has been really good.
See you next weekend.
Yes.
Vidal, have you got anything you would like to bring up today? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the Four Noble Truths. About the second noble truth, the cause of suffering. Yeah? Does it mean that craving or tanha brings about all the sufferings because it conditions the Patisandhi Chitta? Because if there is rebirth, yeah, then all the sufferings will follow. And in that sense, the tanha is the cause of suffering. Can we say that?
Without tanha, there couldn't be the continuation of life in samsara. So it is because of tanha, with ignorance, that life goes on and on and on, and conditions whatever arises, which is dukkha, endlessly, until tanha is seen and eradicated.
Okay.
So the
If we,
tanha now, it goes on accumulating on endlessly, more, adding more bricks to the wall of samsara.
okay, so if it is the case, we can only regard the Four Noble Truths in terms of samsara.
Well, what is samsara? Samsara is now, the seeing is now, the hearing is now, the ignorance now, even the understanding now. Each one is conditioned, and dukkha, even the moments of understanding, all conditioned by the continuation of life from moment to moment because of tanha.
Yeah, but I meant samsara in the sense that it involves the past life, present life, and the future life. We can understand, or we should understand the Arya Satya only in terms of the past life, present life, and future life. Can we say that?
But the past life, the future life, the present life is actually just like now, one chitta arising at a time, moments of seeing, moments of hearing, moments of thinking. So in a sense, there is past, future, and present even now, because this chitta is conditioned by the last and conditioning the next, arising and falling away, each one dukkha, each one conditioned by tanha, and it continues on endlessly until tanha is eradicated.
Okay.
So when we talk about lifetimes, actually it's just this moment, one moment after another, but we can talk about the last life or the next life, but actually each reality now is conditioned and gone instantly.
Okay.
So samsara is at this moment.
Okay. So the Four Noble Truths can be understood in terms of present moment, and also in terms of past life, present life, and future life.
Right. If there's no understanding of present moment, seeing now, hearing now, can there be any understanding of what was past life or what was future life? No matter what kind of existence or what patisandhicita, but still it's the same kinds of seeing, hearing, the same kinds of realities on and on. So nothing can be understood about samsara without understanding at this moment.
Okay. Next, about the third noble truth, yeah? Does it refer to the Magga Chitta of Arahat or something else?
Yes, well, I'm going to let her jump past to add more on this. So I think it's understanding the way to the cessation of what is conditioned. So it's by understanding what is dukkha and the cause of dukkha and the path, there is the gradual development of understanding of why what is conditioned is so unsatisfactory and what is the way leading to the cessation of what is conditioned, what is so unsatisfactory. But let me ask Ajahn to add more to your questions.
Sorry, what is the question about?
My question is about the third noble truth.
The third one,
Yes.
what does it mean? The word of truth.
Yeah. Does it refer to Magga Chitta of Arahat or not?
Okay. What object is Magga-citta? Experiences?
One of the three characteristics of realities.
You mean the third noble truth?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the object of Magga-citta?
Whether is it dukkha or anatta or impermanent?
Yes. Are you talking about Magga-citta?
Yes.
Magga-citta experience what?
One of
Magga-citta.
one of the three characteristics.
No.
Nibbana, Tadao.
Eh?
Just be Nibbana.
Oh, okay.
Can there be the understanding of the reality of Nibbana right now?
No.
That's why learning about what is it, it's not the object of daily life at all. And what experiences it, it's not ignorance, but it's the level of panya which can experience that. So how can there be such moment if there is no understanding of what is there now? So we just talk about what is there to be understood so that it can go on realizing the truth until different levels of vipassana jnana is there. It's not just experience the difference or the distinction between nama and rupa. That is just the first stage, not nibbana yet. So what is nibbana? Is it citta or is it cetasika or is it rupa?
No, it's unconditioned reality.
That's why we can just talk that word, use the story of Nibbana and the way it's explained, but it's not the moment of experiencing Nibbana. That's why understanding that without understanding what is there now, there will never be the moment of experiencing Nibbana at all. Because no matter how much we talk about it, it's not known or realized at all. But what can be directly known or realized has to be whatever is there now, any moment, naturally, by conditions. This is the understanding of anatta. All dhammas are anatta. Otherwise, it's something all the time. It's not anatta, it's atta. So right understanding has to begin with the first word about whatever is there, clearer and clearer and clearer enough to let go attachment and ignorance. By way of Paticcasamuppada, what is the first one? Ignorance. It's not just by name or by word, it's there now, ignorance. If ignorance is not known, how can there be understanding what is the root or condition for attachment to arise? And ignorance is different from understanding. So it conditions whatever is there to arise and fall away all the time by ignorance and attachment. So Nibbana is opposite of all these. See, beginning to understand the reality, which there's no lopa, no dosa, or whatever is there as something at all. Absolutely. Ultimately, truth. It's true. It doesn't mean that there is no that quality or that reality at all. There is, but not now. And the characteristic cannot be known no matter how much we talk about it, because even what is there now is not known. So how can that which is different from all these be known? While all this is daily life appearing as something all the time. So can anyone try to understand Nibbana without understand whatever is there now? Is it possible to
No,
understand
not
what is there now? Because there is just thinking about Nibbana. So it's just a dream about Nibbana or the truth of what is there. If there's no more understanding of the truth, gradually, little by little, because are covered up by ignorance and attachment. So now, what can be known? A little more from not the way it is, not as it is, to understand the truth, to condition more understanding closer to the truth. And if we talk about Nibbana, can it be known? Can it be realized?
no.
Right, just talking about it. So, what is there now? Not enough understanding. That's why talking about it a little more. Not to forget the truth that it's there all the time, unknown. So it's time to begin to understand intellectually, firmly, to condition moment of directly understand what is there as we have heard. For example, what is seen. See, there can be moment of begin to attend to the characteristic which experiences what is there, instead of just take what is there as something or someone all the time, which is not right understanding at all.
Yeah, intellectually, I'd like to understand whether the third Noble Truth refer to Sarupadisesa Nibbana or Anupadisesa Nibbana?
So now, that can be the beginning of understanding. Attachment is so very crafty. See, it's there. Conditioned moment of thinking about other thing, which is not there. Lopa is there. Most of the time, as a seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, unknown. When it's known, what is the way to have less or not to have it arise? Only understanding what is there as it is. At moment of what is the moment of understanding what is there. It's not attachment to try to want to know this or that, which is not there. And how can it condition moment of experiencing Nibbana when Lopa is there, ignorance is there? So very crafty, not understand that it is always there.
No, I don't think I have attachment to Nibbana. It's beyond my comprehension. So I do not think about Nibbana. I rather think about reality of
What is there at the moment of thinking of Nibbana?
it's my intellectual curiosity.
To be truthful to the truth is parami, satya parami. Begin to understand. Lopa, even is so very slightly.
What is the reality of intellectual curiosity, Tadao?
It's for my book. I'd like to have a sort of right understanding, but yeah, even at the level of pariyatti.
But when it's the curiosity, can it be pariyatti?
Yeah, I think so. So at least as a book knowledge, I'd like to know what the third noble truth is. And my question is whether it can be referred to as Sapadisesa Nibbana or Anupadisesa Nibbana. It's my curiosity.
So I think there are 2 points. So Jan's point is curiosity is loba. So loba popping in all the time, and one just wants to find out the details different from understanding the truth at the moment. And I think the other point is that, as she mentioned earlier, Nibbana is the reality when there is no loba, no dosa, actually nothing at all. It's just the reality which is unconditioned, which is experienced at different stages of enlightenment. So the Sa-upadisesa Nibbana is when Nibbana is experienced, realized, fully realized, but still life carries on because there are still conditions for chittas to continue arising and falling away until the end of that life. And at the end of the life, at that life, the anupada disesa nibbana is when no conditions for any continuation of life in samsara, no more, because the loba and the ignorance were completely eradicated on becoming an arahat, so no more life. But I think that the nibbana referred to is the opposite of what is conditioned. So no more dukkha. So it is the truth that is realized gradually as the different defilements are eradicated at stages. So back to the third noble truth, it is only by understanding more about what is true, what is real now, and gradually understanding the impermanence of what is true now, what is thereby unsatisfactory, and what is not self, that gradually there can be the correct intellectual understanding in the first place of what the cessation of dukkha is, the truth about nibbana. But if we just try to get the details correct, or just have curiosity to know what it would be like to be an arahat, for example, it doesn't help the development of understanding at all.
Tadao, just to answer your question briefly, it must be both of those, because the object is nibbana in both cases. So we can say that, when there's the experience of nibbana, when there's the experience of nibbana, that is the third noble truth. And of course, when the Arahata dies, we call that, end of defilements with no rebirth. We can relate that to this third noble truth also. So they're both, those Sarvabhuta and the other one, they both relate to the third noble truth. So I don't think there's any, it doesn't have to be any distinction, because dukkha nirodha, which you asked about originally, which is a third noble truth, relates to that, both of those aspects of Sarvabhuta and the other one.
Okay, thank you. But I have a question about Sarvabhuta Nibbana. Why is it Sarvabhuta Nibbana? Is it because Arahat, 5 khandhas of clinging, becomes the object of other people's attachment? In that sense, his Nibbana is called Sarvabhuta Nibbana.
It's because the khandhas conditioned by past ignorance and clinging continue to arise until the end of that life, regardless of whether they're the objects of clinging by anyone. So it is the result of past karma that conditions that continuation of life for the Arahat. And the Anupadisesa Nibbana is the opposite. No more conditions for the arising of any more khandhas, or the result of any more anything else conditioned by past karma. No more life, no more patisandhi at all. So the Sarvabhuta Nibbana are referred to the remnants of the past karma and other conditions for the rest of that life.
Oh, okay. And I have a question about the fourth noble truth here. There are 5 noble truths and 8 noble truths. I cannot.
5 power factors and 8 power factors.
Yeah, I cannot see the difference.
The moments of enlightenment, 8 path factors arise to experience nibbana, unless higher jhanas were realized immediately before, and then it may be 7 factors, for example. But the 5 factors refer to the mundane path. When the mundane path is developed, there are 5 or 6 path factors that arise depending on whether one of the 3 virities is arising. But at the moment of enlightenment, all 3 virities arise at the stage of Sotapanna.
If one has a sort of pure samasati, the other factors must be associated with that sati. And in that instance, how many path factors are associated with samasati?
So when it is samasati of the path arising, then it's samaditi, and all the other path factors are sama. So in the development of the mundane path, 5 factors or 6 when one of the 3 virities, cetasikas, arise. And many other sobhana cetasikas arise, but 5 or 6 path factors altogether, including the samasati.
Why not 8 factors together?
Because the 3 viriti cetasikas, right speech, right action, right livelihood, cannot arise together at the moment of abstaining from wrong speech. There cannot be the abstaining from wrong action at the same moment. And if it is the abstaining from wrong livelihood, sama ajiva at that moment, then it is that one rather than this samavachi, or the right action at that moment.
Oh, okay.
Just one at a time, except at the moment of enlightenment when all 3 arise together.
Okay.
We've just got a couple of moments left, so let's see if Ajahn has anything she would like to add before we finish.
Keep on understanding what is there little by little. Because what we are talking about is just, it's there now. Sadhika.
Yeah.
Sawadee ka,
Swadee Kap,
Ajahn.
Ajahn. Swadee Kap. Thank you very much.